Hey, hello. All right, here we go. AMSCO vocab list 7. It's the one that Nine's so scared of. I'm not embarrassed about that joke. I feel like that's a decent joke. I'm okay with it. It's the weekend. I'm wearing a hoodie, something you don't see very often on me. Didn't do my hair, but it's my Basquiat hoodie. I have a couple Basquiat hoodies. I know this design. You see this crown a lot. I wonder why people put it on their cars and on their shirts, what they think it means. It's a really important artist named Jean-Michel Basquiat, who's an American from the New York scene in the late 70s, early 80s. I go on and on about Basquiat all day. I really love his work. I wonder, I've seen all these people's cars. Are they really into Basquiat? What's going on there? Anyway, here we go. Our words this week, we've got a few. Oh, I'm going to have to move my little head. Let's see, we've got illusion, monologue, primordial, regimen, fallacious, demure, abysmal, contrite, blithe, hypothetical, levity, and ecology. I'm going to move my head back over because I think it'll be better now for the rest of this. Maybe. Here we go. All right, let's go to our next slide here. So, an illusion. Illusion's a noun. It's a thing that is or is likely to be wrongly perceived or wrongly interpreted by the senses. You think you see something, but it's not really there. Now, these may be intentionally set up or not intentionally set up. Someone can set up an illusion. You think it's one thing, but really it's another. Magic tricks, things of that nature. But also could be something that no one set it up. It just looks like something it isn't. Now, the adjective form is a great word. It's illusory. It's a great word. I really like that one a lot. Here's the thing, though, in English class, you need to be really careful not to mix up with the word allusion, starting with an A. I always, when I pronounce the word in class, I really hit the A and allusion really heavy, but it isn't necessarily pronounced with that heavy distinction. It's just illusion. So it can be easy to mix the two up. So magic tricks are all illusions. There's no such thing as magic or aliens or ghosts. Oh, Winther, come at me. Come at me. All right, here we go. Next one. We've got monologue. A monologue is a long speech by one actor in a play or in a movie or as part of a theatrical or broadcast program. It's when the actor stands there and says a lot of stuff. Now, there are different types of monologues, like a soliloquy, something we talk about with Shakespeare a lot. This is not necessarily a soliloquy. It's just someone talking for a long time, uninterrupted, like what I'm doing right now. You can also use monologue as a verb. He monologued at me, right? A person can, in fact, be monologuing if they just won't stop talking. It's not a set speech from a play or something. They just won't shut up and listen to anyone else. Primordial. Primordial is an adjective that describes something that has existed from basically the beginning of time. Like as soon as the earth cooled, this thing came into existence, right? It's a primeval thing. It's beyond ancient. It's prehistory. Now, curiously, most often when I hear the word primordial, it's tied up with the word ooze, the primordial ooze, this idea of like early life forms that crawled out of the goop of the early oceans, right? If something's primordial, it existed or it began to exist, started to come about at the very beginning of time. And maybe it has a certain primitive timelessness as a result. And now, regimen. A regimen is a prescribed course of treatment. Usually, medical treatment is the original version of this. It can also be just a way of life, though. It can be a diet for the promotion or the restoration of health. It's anything that's a set routine consistently performed for someone's well being, whether it's their emotional well being, their psychological well being, or their physical well being. It's the thing you always do. I have a morning regimen. I get up, I make myself a cup of coffee, I check my email, That's my regimen, so I don't go crazy, and I get everything done that I need to get done, as an example. Now, fallacious. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. If something's fallacious, it's based on a mistaken belief. You believe this thing, you are acting in a certain way, but your reasons for acting that way aren't real. They're based in a fallacy. Now, the noun form is indeed a fallacy. If something's a fallacy, you believe it, even though the basis of your belief doesn't really make sense. You've come to a certain conclusion because of what someone told you, but the thing they told you is a lie. In my composition class, I often mention logical fallacies. These are modes of thought that don't actually function properly because they're based on a line of thought that doesn't add up. We'll go over more of that with my AP Lang students, but for now, a fallacious is something based on a mistaken belief. You've come to believe it because someone lied to you, basically. Now, demure. Demure is a pretty old-fashioned word. It's a little bit, it carries some gender stereotypes that are not really terrific. It means reserved, modest, and shy. It's pretty much exclusively used for women and not for men. If someone's demure, they have a little coquettish, well, I don't want to laugh too loud, kind of thing, right? That's to be demure. Um, Again, it's pretty old fashioned. The idea back then would have been that women should be demure. They shouldn't be too loud. They shouldn't talk too much. They should kind of keep it to themselves, right? They should be a little bit pulled back all the time. Again, this plays into some pretty gross gender stereotypes, but it is a word you will still see. But you're welcome to tell them they're being a little bit sexist when they use it. Abysmal. If something's abysmal, it's an adjective. It's extremely bad, appallingly bad as a thing can be. But it's not just like feelings, although I suppose it could be. It's quality. It's the quality of a thing. The quality of it is abysmal. It's an abysmal movie. This meal is abysmal. The chef doesn't know what he's doing. My day is abysmal. Nothing good happened. It sucks, right? If it's abysmal, it almost couldn't be worse than it is. It's like as bad as it can be. All right, contrite. Contrite's an adjective. If someone is feeling contrite, then they are feeling or expressing remorse or penitence and extreme guilt. They're so sorry. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm being contrite right now. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's me being contrite. I wish I hadn't done it, right? If you feel contrite, it's a deep and profound sense of guilt. Now, curiously, when someone says it nowadays, it's almost always a little bit, I don't know, sarcastic isn't quite the word, but it means you're kind of doubting a little bit. Well, he sure seemed contrite. We almost always use it when we're expressing doubt a little bit about the other person. Now, the noun form of this is contrition. I felt a large sense of contrition, right? He was expressing contrition, something like that. Now, blithe. If someone's blithe or acting blithely, they're showing a casual and cheerful indifference, which is probably improper. It's really not how they should be. They're being so casual and so relaxed that maybe they're not taking things seriously, right? See this guy in this office juggling and making a mess. Hey, man, you're at work. I admire that you're relaxed, but maybe you shouldn't be quite this relaxed. You're acting in a blithe manner. It doesn't bother them, but maybe it should. Like so much so, like this dude might get fired because he's being blithe. Okay. Hypothetical. I think we've all used hypothetical. It's of or based on or serving with a hypothesis. People usually employ hypothetical or hypothetically to indicate that they're playing with an idea, but don't necessarily mean or suggest, well, hypothetically, if I was to go do this thing, right? That's a hypothetical. Hypothetical is I'm playing out an idea and wondering what would happen if I actually did it. I mean, hypothetically, we could skip these quizzes. We could never do vocab again. But then again, if we did that, we wouldn't learn new vocabulary, which we kind of need to be equipped for the world and know what we're talking about. See, like I float out the idea, I can play out what would happen, but it's not actually then a good idea. All right, levity. Levity is a noun. It's humor or frivolity. It's treating something serious with humor or in a manner that kind of lacks due respect. That definition feels a little bit harsh to me. Levity isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes we need levity to get through tough times. When I'm at funerals, I'm always looking for a little bit of levity. I always want someone to make maybe a slightly inappropriate joke, just to lighten things up a little bit. I remember there's one funeral I went to for a family member. It was one of the saddest days of my life. It was terrible. And my sister and I can't remember who said it first, the other one, but one of us made a bet of who would laugh, who would cry harder that day. And I laughed when we made the bet because it was so ridiculous. And that levity really helped me get through the day, right? It was gross and probably not a thing anyone should have said. But it got to the point of we're so sad that it's kind of ridiculous. Like we didn't know such sadness could exist. Things like that. So ecology. Ecology is the branch of biology that deals with the relations of organisms to one another and to their physical surroundings. When we discuss the natural world, trees, plants, animals, air, water, all these things, that whole system, we're talking about ecology and how's the lifestyle and the life cycle of each organism impact everything else, right? I don't really love having a lot of bugs. Like I'm just I don't want bugs in the house, but bugs are important. They help things all over nature. If we don't have bugs, we don't get trees, we don't get food, we don't get decomposition that we need, right? Ecology is how all these things interact with one another. Now, the adjective form is ecological, which is really commonly used, particularly when talking about environmental manners or matters. And that's it. That's the words. We went through them pretty quick this week. Study up. They're very useful. They're good ones. Try maybe use them in conversation here and there, and then we'll take the quiz soon. All right. See you then. Bye.